Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Unity Center of Westland, Oregon. My name is Joanne Carruthers, and I'm your service assistant this morning. On behalf of the board and the leadership team, we welcome you and bless you. We believe each one of us dwells in and as spirit, and each of us is here by divine appointment today. If you're new to the Unity or the Unity Center of Westland, we invite you to our website, www.worldhealing.org, for more information on the center and to sign up for our weekly digital e-news for more inspiration, activities, and classes. You can also find replays of our recent services on youtube.com by searching for Westland Unity Center. We're so pleased to have as our special guest speaker today, our transitional Unity minister, Reverend Julie Applegate, who will give our opening prayer.
So as we come together this morning, let us know the truth together. For I know that there is one power and presence in and through all life. The spirit of life, ground of being, whatever name we give the unnameable, responds to our requests upon it. As Jesus said, ask and you will receive, seek and you will find, knock and it will be opened. I am aware of this for each one of us. I know this morning that the fullness of life resides in each one of us. I know the deep joy that fills our soul when we realize that all is well in divine mind, which is the mind of all creation. I know that we here today, actually hear what it is that we need. I know that we come away from our time together truly blessed. And for this, I am deeply grateful and I give thanks. Amen.
Thank you, Julie. And please join me now as we share our mission statement. The Unity Center is a ministry where people of all ages, backgrounds, and beliefs celebrate the one common spiritual thread that lives in every heart. And we have some announcements. First of all, Sandra, whoops, can you hear me? Our Sandra Combs, our licensed Unity teacher, is doing a 4-part series on living unity in tumultuous times. Well, actually, it's turbulent times, I think. But it begins today. It will begin at 12 noon and last about 90 minutes. There's a Zoom link in the e-news, and it's at the bottom. It's not the link for church. It's at the bottom of the e-news. There's also a link on your page if you need to copy that down. It's by love offering, and you can do that by PayPal or mail a check to the Unity Center. So hope if you haven't signed up before or agreed to do it, think about joining us with that. You can go home after the service, have a meal, have a snack, and sign back on. I think we'll be on about 11:15 till 12. Our just a little update. Our 30-year anniversary, physical anniversary, has been postponed until 2021 due to the coronavirus. But Victoria will speak on September 27th to celebrate the anniversary. Also, men's group meets tomorrow. Jim, who is on the mend after his little accident, and he is in charge of that. That will be at 6:45 tomorrow. Begins, and that is on Zoom, of course, and it actually begins at 7. You'll have to bring your own pizza, and he has sent a link out, and that should have arrived in your inbox. If you didn't get it, contact Jim. Women's Circle meets this Tuesday evening on July 14th at 6:30 p.m., and that will be open at 6:15 on Zoom. We're going to talk about how we're faring during this coronavirus pandemic and our isolation, and also how we can help others at this time. If you need any more information or didn't get your link, contact Olivia or myself, Joanne. Friday the 17th is Food from the Heart, and I believe everything has been signed up for that is needed. Contact Mary Troxel or Marty Bankhead if you have questions, and that will have your things there by 5:30 on Friday, and Casey, thank goodness, will take them down to the transition center. Also, our dear Julie, our transitional minister, is going to be available for counseling or pastoral care if you need some spiritual guidance. And her contact information is in the e-news. I have a reading. This is from yesterday's Daily Word, actually. And it's entitled Laughter. Laughter has many healing properties. It boosts the immune system, lowers stress hormones, and can even decrease pain. My body relaxes and my mood lifts as I laugh, adding zest and joy to my life. Even thinking about the giggles of children and the wonder that brings squeals of delight to an innocent young mind makes me smile. There are few things better than this feeling of complete surrender to the joy of the moment. Laughter is contagious, so when I bring humor and goodwill to a conversation, I help shift the energy from tension and conflict to cohesion and unity. I seek ways to add joy to my life. I look for the good in all. I smile in the mirror. I give thanks. I surround myself with people who love to laugh. And from Genesis 21, verse 6, now Sarah said, God has brought laughter for me. Everyone who hears will laugh with me. I think we have some music. We should have some music coming up.
When everything changes, I can change anything. Turning the pages, everything is new. If life's little stages are teaching me anything, it's everything changes, and I can change too. Used to be when things got crazy, I'd get to feeling low. But I found out I can't let that faze me. Honey, now I know. When everything changes, I can change anything. Turning the pages, everything's new. If life's little stages are teaching me anything, it's everything changes, and I can change too. Who expects the unexpected? Life sneaking up on you, and sometimes we all feel disconnected. What you gonna do when everything changes? I can change anything, turning the pages and everything's new. If life's little stages are teaching me anything, it's everything changes, and I can change too. Everything changes, I can change anything, turning the pages, everything's new. If life's little stages are teaching me anything, it's everything changes, and I can change. Everything changes, I can change anything, turning the pages, everything's new. If life's little stages are teaching me anything, it's everything changes, and I can change too. Everything changes, and I can change too. Everything changes, and I can change too.
And now it's time for Julie. Most of you are familiar with Reverend Julie Applegate. We're so pleased she's agreed to become our new transitional minister until the time we hire our permanent new unity minister. Since her ordination, Reverend Julie has founded 2 ministries, and though she is retired from full-time ministry, she dedicates her time to supporting many New Thought ministries in our region, including Woodland Chapel in Salem, Unity of Beaverton, and us. Our board is thrilled for her leadership and spiritual guidance. She's offering her services to you for pastoral care and spiritual support. And she will be speaking for us 2 times monthly. Recently, she wrote, she has had 2 focuses. One is community, and the other is a passion for each one of us to live the best life possible through spiritual awakening, and how that emerges through our church community, our services, and classes. Her message today is Obstacles Awaken Solutions. Thanks, Julie.
Oh, good morning again. And thank you for that introduction. I am so happy to be here with you, to be part of this amazing group. And it's just been really great getting to know all of you. This morning we are once again, and probably will be for some time, meeting in our homes together. Isn't that interesting, together in our homes? But we meet heart to heart, if not in person. And so I am privileged, just so privileged to be part of this group now. And I feel so welcome. You guys have just made me feel so welcome and a part of it. And I've spoken at your church before, but to have this level of membership is really delightful and an honor. So this morning, our message being Obstacles Awaken Solutions. And why is this important to understand? Why would we even talk about this? Life, and I think the class addresses this that's coming up, can be really stressful. It can overwhelm us sometimes, and we can be in fear about things that happen and come up, the unplanned. We might plan our life, but As you all know, the unplanned just pops its little head up. And so even sometimes we can get in despair about how things come up in our life. So, and at the very least, maybe we can begin to doubt ourselves and doubt what we're doing and doubt that we're on the right track, and just kind of give up and feel separate, forgetting the very foundations of our teachings. So if obstacles can become solutions, how can I embrace these obstacles? And not just live constantly or from time to time in fear and frustration. And I think the first thing we need to do always, forever, is return to our basic principles. In New Thought and Unity and all the other New Thought movements, we are so lucky. We're so lucky to have really grounding principles that are universal, and we can come back to them at all times and remember what is true. And here is what is true about that. The hand of Source, higher presence, soul essence, is always active in our affairs. And I have come to see that for me, and I think this is universally true, that obstacles can be a form of redirection, maybe a different direction totally, or just a minor adjustment, or perhaps we just need to learn something more. These are messages that can be a blessing. And in a line of learning something more, I was thinking this morning, I have chickens. Like, I have a lot of chickens. And I grew up with chickens. I grew up on a farm. My grandmother had chickens ever since she homesteaded. And so I used to have pet chickens and chickens everywhere. So when I moved to this place here in Happy Valley, which used to be farms, I thought, I gotta have chickens. They are so awesome. So I got chickens, and I put up a fence all by myself. I got chicken wire. I pounded some stakes in the ground. I put the chicken wire around. I put the feed in there. I put all the chickens in. I think I had a dozen. And they just ate, and I was so happy stand backing and watching. And then when they were done eating, they all flew over the top of the fence I had created. And it was quite a marvel to watch. I was absolutely stunned. I thought, oh, chicken wire, keeps chickens in. Well, not so. And very sadly, because my fences were so incredibly inadequate, the coyotes came along. I had to learn. There was this great obstacle, and it was so sad losing my chickens. So part of what I had to learn was how to actually care for chickens, how to make fences. And I didn't do that again. I enlisted my husband and son. So they have become chicken farmers, whether they wanted to or not. So sometimes there is this thing that comes up for us and nudges us. It's common folk wisdom that when God shuts a door, a window opens. And those who have paid attention in their life understand that the universe, that's a rather true statement, and that the universe is here to support us. On the other hand, sometimes some of us tend to try to knock down the door that got shut, just like break it down. I'm going through that door anyway. And usually one of three things happens when we do that. One is we get pretty bruised in the process of knocking down the door, or we find that we didn't really want what was behind the door anyway. And perhaps maybe we stick with it, but we're not altogether happy with our choice. So you remember that story, guys? Do you remember that story? I think most of you have heard this story. I love it. About the ship. Okay, I'm going to tell you the story. It's said to be true, but likely is not is likely is not true, but that's neither here nor there. It's really, like most stories, an inspirational story. But it's said that to be an actual transcript of a radio conversation between a U.S. naval ship and a Canadian authorities off the coast of Newfoundland. And this U.S. ship said, going along, and it sees an obstacle. And it says, please divert your course 5 degrees to the south to avoid a collision. The Canadian folks replied, we recommend that you divert your course 15 degrees to the south to avoid a collision. But the U.S. ship captain, I said, I'm the captain of the U.S. Navy ship. I say, again, divert your course. And the Canadian replied, no, I say again, you divert your course. You can see how this is going. And the U.S. ship, in no uncertain terms, said, this is an aircraft carrier, USS Coral Sea. We are a large warship of the U.S. Navy. Divert your course now. And the Canadian replied, this is a lighthouse, your call. So something mystical, it feels mystical to me anyway, can happen to keep us on course or change course. But guys, it does need our cooperation. That's the thing about it. So another way is to not let obstacles really stop us, but to take the time to slow down and reflect. And redirect. A lot of times I know for me in the past, I'm so focused on going ahead in a course that I just don't stop. Take a breath, think what may be going on here rather than have this reactive moment, which is always good advice no matter what's going on. Even though we do keep moving in the direction of our goals and dreams. There's a saying that sometimes when things are falling apart, they are falling in place. So another important way is to remember the infinite has more good for us than we can imagine. Our vision is really limited. We're human. We're in a human experience, a human body, and we can see only what we know, what we have experienced. But there is a grander reality. And if we can tune into that and realize that we are not alone and there is greater wisdom and greater potentiality than we can know for ourselves, that's an awesome place to be, a place of total peace without the fear that comes with the unknown. And so I picked up my copy of the Daily Word this morning and opened it to March 7th, 2019. You know, those don't go out of style, do they? Daily Word is always inspirational. So it said this, get this, and do you not love how these things happen? It's so great. You know, you pick up something and it's just perfect and exactly what you need. So I opened it to this page. It fell open as it always does, you know, when we need something and if we pay attention, it just right there. Spirit is so amazing. It's just so amazing, guys. So anyway, I opened it this morning. And I'm going to read part of it. I'm not going to read all of it to you. But it said, I celebrate the inexhaustible power of spirit. I rejoice in this fundamental principle of life. There is only one power and presence active in the universe. This divine power is invisible and invincible. It expresses in, through, and as me. It operates unfailingly in service to the highest good for all. So what I know when I read that, all is well, all is well. And lastly, just take time for mindfulness practice. That is always a faith exercise. And when I scan my life, it is so evident that there is some power there just watching. Call it a guardian angel, uh, call it whatever you want. But if we pay attention, we practice this mindfulness, it's possible to become keenly aware of something. And maybe some of us need a whole battalion of guardian angels. Whether you believe in angels or not, it feels like it. And I'll wager that this is the same for you as it is for me. Richard Bach said, every problem has a gift for you in its hands. So I want to tell you my story a little bit about ministry and about obstacles. Years ago, on a drive home from church, I was a member of a religious science church in Lake Oswego. And on my drive home, I heard this voice. I literally heard this. It says, you're going to be a minister now. That is the last thing I had ever thought about being. It never had entered my mind. But when I heard that, it was so clear and it rang so true. It was like, oh, okay, this is what I am to do. And I didn't hesitate a moment. I had no questions. It was just an awareness that this was true. So I already had completed my practitioner program, and I was a licensed practitioner, which was a requirement to go into ministry program. And so at the time, the religious science was divided into two groups. One group trained the ministers on site. The other group had regional seminaries. And these religious science, for those of you who don't know, are now Centers for Spiritual Living and one group. But my church did training on site. And I had heard my minister say at one time that she wanted to establish a training program for ministers. So this light went off. Aha, okay, I'm ready. So I went to her and said, I'm ready to have this training program. So when can we begin? And she wasn't sure that she really wanted to do it right then. And I thought, I'll help you. So I said, I'll make brochures, I'll recruit. I'm all ready to go. She wasn't sure. So of course, knowing that I had to be a minister and I couldn't see any other way, Spirit had told me this, and besides, it's my personality. And so I just kept bugging her and bugging her. And at the same time as all this was going on, our son was in college at the University of Puget Sound in Tacoma, Washington. So we went up to visit him one weekend, and while we were there, I just said to my husband, we need to go up Sunday morning to the religious science church in Seattle. So we did. And I saw this flyer sitting on the table, and it said, how to teach the science of mind. Well, as a practitioner, I was getting to teach some classes in our local church, and I didn't know a thing about teaching. So I thought, oh, this would be so great. But it's in Seattle, oh, darn it. And as it turned out, I also had a really lovely conversation with the dean of ministry there, and was telling her about my plans. And I looked at that class and I thought, oh, that would be really nice. But I told my husband these very words. I said, what kind of a fool would commute from Portland to Seattle for a class? So I took a trip to New York after I got back home to visit my daughter who lived in New York City. And I got home like the day before this class was to start, and I still had this flyer sitting on my counter because this class kept niggling at me. But you get that there's some kind of fool that would commute from Portland to Seattle. It just seemed an absolutely ridiculous thing to do, but the darn thing wouldn't let go of me. So I thought, okay, there's only one solution to this, and I have to ask for a sign. Now, I don't often ask for signs rarely, but on occasion I do when I absolutely don't know what decision to make, and it seems like a one that's just a little too big for me. So I said, okay, God, if you want me to take this class, if you want me to do this, I need a sign. You know, like I need a really big sign on this. And no sooner had I said that, I swear to God, you guys, no sooner had I said that than the phone rang, and it was the dean of the school of ministry from Seattle. And there was just like this wave of peace washed over me. And at the same time, I got these chills. And it was like, okay, there's a sign. It was as clear as day that this was a sign. And so I went up to Seattle and took this class, stayed with my son, he was so generous. He had his first apartment as a senior in college, and his mom comes to live with him. I mean, what can be better than that? So I took the class, and I ended up in ministry school up there, driving from Portland to Seattle. I would go up on Monday, come back on Friday, unless there was a weekend workshop. 3 years I did this, and wow, let me tell you, it was such an incredible blessing, because I could see what I could see. I could see the training program in my local church. I could see how that worked. I knew Spirit was directing me. What I couldn't see is what more Spirit had to offer for me, because in this regional seminary, it was all set up. There were lots of wonderful teachers, great classes, but here was the super benefit. That was a large church, and I belonged to a smaller church in Portland. So I would go to seminary during the week. I would come home on the weekend, and because it was a smaller church, I got to participate in everything. I got to speak, I got to teach, I started a youth program, I was on the board. All the things that I was learning, I could then come back and put into practice. I had benefits that very few students really have, because in that big church, of course, they weren't going to be allowed to do all the things that I got to do. So the wonderful thing about this obstacle, it became super. It's 4 hours, timed it from my door to the school. Wasn't all that big a thing. So when I graduated, I started my own ministry, and I started, pretty much fresh with a new church. I knew how to do it. I know how to do it because I got to practice it as well as learn. So I had so much experience, and I have watched my life. I mean, we could be here all day if I were to tell you stories like this that would normally be considered something very distressing had turned into an advantage. It's just been a pattern, and I bet if you look at your life, you will find that same thing. It's like this divine energy, this divine guidance, my soul, or whatever it is ever present, keeping track of my own craziness that would probably surface without divine guidance. I don't know about you, but I really need it. So let's begin this week together. How about this? If you have already been asking each morning for a blessing, and I know probably a lot of you have, that everything that happens during the day is a blessing, regardless of what it is, that asks for the blessing in that. Further, to trust this infinite good and be as patient as we can as we move in the direction of our desires and dreams, as we understand them. And if we need to be directed, trust that there will be some obstacle, something that comes along, some intuitive inspiration that redirects us. It's the way it works. And we are so darn lucky to know that. The hand of Source, higher presence, soul essence is active in our affairs. And I have come to see that obstacles are often a redirection, or sometimes just an out and out gift. Perhaps I just need to learn more, like I did with my chickens. Obstacles, I think, are a blessing more often than not, a nudge for us to move into the fulfillment of our divine purpose and our deep desires. So I just invite you to be in prayer with me. And just take a deep breath. And when I pray using the personal pronoun because there is only one mind. And it is through my thoughts of clarity into this one mind that there is transformative power. This is true for all of us. So please let it be an I. As I speak, I'm speaking for each one of us. And so breathe. Even though we are not in the same room, by the power of our intentional connection, our breath is synchronized in perfect harmony. Our hearts beat in perfect rhythm. For the power and presence that brought this universe into existence expresses as me, as all life. The wisdom and intelligence of the mind of Spirit God is now active in my life. The divine intelligence is acting in my affairs, inspiring and sustaining everything that I do, say, or think. I can rest in peace knowing that it is so, that all is well. Indeed, all is well. Namaste.
Oh, thank you, Julie. As you were talking, I'm looking at the obstacles in my life that had turned into blessings, actually. So thank you. I think we have some music. I think.
Sharon, do we have a video?
I'm working on it. There it is. Okay.
Thank you.
Okay.
Close my eyes, I open my heart, I'll take a deep breath, let the healing start. I lift my hands, I plant my feet, I let love in, I feel the beat that's calling us to rise, rise, speak. rise in me and let in my soul. I clear my mind. I'm here and now in present time. I feel the power of 1,000 suns lighting up the dark. Oh, we rise as one. Oh, rise, rise, spirit, rise up, rise in me. Oh, rise, rise, spirit, rise up, rise in me. Rise in me. I sing to you, I sing to you. You sing to me, you sing to me. Change up this noise and make sweet harmony. Come on and rise, oh rise, spirit rise up, rise in me. Oh, rise, rise, spirit rise up, rise in me, rise in me. Heart to heart, hand in hand, no turning back, onward to promised land. Do you feel the power of 1,000 suns lighting up the dark? Oh, we rise as one. Love's calling, calling out your name. Love's calling. That's why we came. Love's calling, calling out the name. Love's calling. It's why we came. Come on and rise, rise, spirit rise up, rise in me. Rise, come on and rise. Oh, spirit rise up, rise in me. Rise up, rise up, rise up, rise up. Come on and rise up. Come on, lift your hands up, jump, reach for the sky, go up high, higher, yeah. Rise up. Come on, raise your voice and shout. Love is alive, bring the light brighter, brighter. Rise up. Come on, lift your hands up, jump, reach for the sky, go up high, higher, yeah. Rise up. Come on, raise your voice and shout. Love is alive, bring the light brighter, brighter. Rise up. Come on and rise up.
We love our spiritual community, and we so much appreciate everyone who contributes to it in their time, their talent, their prayers, and also their financial support. And our intention for the Unity Center in our 30th year is spirit-led, We are co-creating a vibrant, inclusive ministry, welcoming and supporting everyone on their spiritual journey. And it's time for our offering for our gifts. And I believe there is a slide coming showing ways that you can contribute, either by your credit or debit card or through PayPal. And thank everyone so much who gives to our spiritual community to keep us going. And together, we bless your gifts and offering, and we say, God's love in me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I give, and all that I receive. And so it is. Thank you, Reverend Julie, and everyone who participated today, as well as our board members and volunteers who help in so many ways and creative and loving ways to sustain the Unity Center, especially now during this exceptional time. We bless all the members of our community, those here, those who couldn't be with us. Please reach out in kindness and love this week. We warmly invite you to return. And if this service has been uplifting for you, please invite your friends and family. We'll be here at the same Zoom link. Check the website, sign up for e-news, and check your email for the service Zoom link. You can view services again and catch any you missed on youtube.com under Westland Unity Center. You can also go to the website www.worldhealing.org, and for 24-hour prayer support, go to www.silentunity.org or www.unity.org for inspiring spiritual resources for your life today. We invite you to join us again every week. Next week, July 19th, with Reverend Julie. And the following week, another favorite speaker, Reverend Christine Green of Sacred Heart Ministries and the New Thought Center for Spiritual Living. She always has a timely, memorable message for us. After today's service, Reverend Julie will be staying online with us for a little bit to meet and greet and for coffee and questions. It's a chance to connect with her, share thoughts, and catch up with our other friends as well. And those of you who plan to participate in Sandra Combs' 4-part Living Unity in Turbulent Times, come back at 12 noon and sign in again with the class link. If you've signed in advance and it's been sent to you, or go to online to the Unity e-news information on the class and the Zoom link for each excuse me, week, and that is on your screen now. And we blow out our Unity candle, and as we blow it out, but we know the light never goes out because we are the light. Join us in our prayer of protection and transformation. The light of God is in us. The love of God moves through us. The power of God transforms us. The presence of God is who we are. Wherever we go, God is, and all is well. Thank you for coming. Have a beautiful and safe, loving week.